Some people would say, oh, we'll repair that all day long. It's a gravy job. I can get that thing pounded out in no time at all and make a bunch of money doing that rather than
sight,
replacing
out of mind.
it. Yep, because it's going to be covered by a bumper and you're never going to know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Reamer. That's Robert Grieve. And, gosh, it's good to see you.
It's great to be here.
While you're watching this, Rob is probably in Las Vegas wrapping up his time at the SEMA convention.
Yeah,
which
is a
is
big deal.
The largest automotive show in the world, as far as I know.
There's some other good ones in the rest of the world, but for here, it's the biggest one, I believe.
It works.
Yeah.
All right. If this is your first time joining us today, super great to have you with the airing of Grievances. Do us a favor, if you would, please. Click the thumbs up if you see something that you like. And even more importantly, if you get a chance, we'd love it if you would click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And the reason the reason we ask for both of these things is because it tells YouTube that the content that we're producing is worth showing to other people, and if you find value in it, chances are pretty good that somebody else is going to do that.
You'll find value. Just click the thumbs up right now, please. Thank you.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
All right. Happy Saturday to you.
To you, my dear friends. Thanks for tuning in.
Now, Rob, probably these people don't know, but I'm a professional magician, and I specialize in seeing is not always believing, or sometimes things appear differently than they really are. And
that is very, very true.
That the reason I bring that up
is you're good at it.
Well, and apparently so too this happens in the world of collision repair.
Yeah, except for you haven't been able to make me disappear yet.
I'm not that good.
So sorry, folks.
I'm not that good. All right, so let's set up what we're going to talk about. And because I think that was kind of the segue that I was looking at, that something appears one way, but it may be something other than that.
What in our line of work, what appears to be something simple and not a big deal, many times turns out to be something that we didn't expect it to be.
Okay.
Our expectations have changed now, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. We need to get into it.
Okay.
To figure out what's going on.
All right.
It's not as simple as what you see.
That goes for a lot of things in life as well. Sure. All right, so what do you got?
All right, so we're going to take a look at a Lexus that was brought into the shop this week. And why don't you pop that picture up there?
There it is.
All right. And it looks like it needs a bumper cover and a reflector.
Yeah, a little scrape. No big deal.
Yeah, it's just a bumper job. That's what we call it in this business.
Okay.
And there's so much that goes along with this, because anybody else looking at it is going to think that also. So we're all thinking the same thing. It's just a bumper job.
Right.
And you're not wrong to think that.
Okay.
But there's more to it. And we're going to take this bumper off in a second and show you what's going on behind it. But, you know, when you're dealing with making your claim and they have you go around the car and take some pictures, put it in the app, send it up, boom, a check is on the way, all the rest of that.
Yeah.
And they tell you the vehicle is drivable. We would all think the vehicle is drivable, except for we don't feel that way anymore. We need to get that cover off and see if the vehicle is actually drivable. Is it physically drivable? Of course it is.
Sure.
But if somebody were to hit it there again before it's repaired, could there be additional injuries and so on and so forth? You betcha.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just take this bumper off. So I guess my point was, have somebody check it out.
Yes.
You know, the person on the end of the phone at the insurance company doesn't want to create any additional expense like rental and this, that, and all the rest of that. And you don't want the frustration of having to drop it off and just have it sit someplace because all the shops are so busy these days.
Right.
However, it's the best thing for you and any passengers that are in the vehicle. And don't listen to anybody. Have it checked out by a professional.
And by checked out, you mean not just
walk past it and take
Right.
pictures of it.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, would look like a bumper job. So let's go ahead and just take the bumper off.
Oh.
Ah,
Whoa.
and it looks a little bit different here. And the most there's several important parts here. And we're going to start with what we call the rebar.
Yeah.
And Eric's going to have a circle around it there, and that is absolutely crushed and is broken. And that's an aluminum reinforcement that when it gets hit on that reinforcement, that directs an energy path throughout the vehicle.
Right.
So that's compromised. If you get hit there again, it's not going to do its job. It's already done its job. It goes in the garbage now.
Hey, you mentioned the energy path, and I want to draw your attention to the fact that we actually did a video quite a while ago. I'll put a link to it right up here.
Awesome.
That talks about the flow of energy and what that means to you and your safety.
Yeah, it's designed. It's designed into the vehicle.
Yeah.
So when it gets hit this way or that way or whatever, the car knows and the engineers know how that's going to affect. The direct damage that you see is just that. It's direct damage. There's usually indirect damage that happens further away from what you can see as the direct damage. In this case, if it was hit on the side, you know, those rails might be over a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but they could be over a little bit. And they need to be back exactly where they're supposed to be with a new rebar on it in order to protect you in the future.
Right.
So that being said, let's move on to the quarter panel
Yep.
and the rear body panel. Those are two pieces of metal welded together right there at that seam.
Yes.
And you'll see that naturally that everybody can see the damage now that the bumper is off. But that quarter panel, some people would say, oh, we'll repair that all day long. It's a gravy job. I can get that thing pounded out in no time at all and make a bunch of money doing that rather
Out of
than
sight, out of
replacing
mind.
it. Yep, because it's going to be covered by a bumper and you're never going to know.
Right.
But the rule of thumb is kink and bend. If something is bent, kind of distorted,
Yeah.
generally repairable.
Okay.
If it's kinked, it gets replaced. And clearly you can see this metal is folded over itself.
Sure.
Not to mention how you would get all those little convolutions exactly the way they're supposed to be. Because, again, you know, you're not going to have this car forever. You're going to trade it in. Somebody else is going to get the car. You want to have a good job done on it.
Well, and the shape of all those convolutions is by design.
By design, of course.
To transfer energy.
Transfer energy, create strength for the panel itself, and all the rest of that. So, again, there's a lot of people that would argue, we're just bang, 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 well, I'll be fine.
Is that the voice they use when they?
Yeah, maybe.
When they do that too. All right.
At Bob's Body Shop and Backyard Barbecue. Anyway, real quickly, we're just going to go up and take a look at this little item. And that is your blind spot monitor.
Okay.
So that is, a critical piece of componentry that is talking to several other systems inside the car. Could be cross-track avoidance, and it's blind spot. It's called a blind spot monitor, but there's several things that it does other than just a blind spot.
It's a sensor that alerts you where you can't see, and that doesn't. It's not limited just to cars coming up on you.
Right.
It could be
there's
you
other
backing
things.
up.
Yeah. There's other things. And clearly, that monitor is not positioned exactly as it should be. It's probably a little one way or the other, and that has a spot that it needs to be in order to function properly.
Yes.
So if you left the bumper cover on there and drove it around, and you happen to rely on your blind spot monitor, that may not be giving you the information that you think it should be giving you, and it is not going to put a light on the dashboard because it's still connected and the car thinks it's still there doing what it's supposed to do. It doesn't know that it's not in the right direction.
Yes.
So that has to be, repaired properly, and the bracketry and stuff. And the best way to do that is to put a new quarter panel on it and move on. But another thing I want to bring to your attention, and we're going to go back to the bumper, the picture with the bumper on the car.
Yep.
Many people, like if you sent that into your insurance company, they're going to send you back an estimate that says you had to put 3 or 4 hours on there to repair it and paint it, and that'll be fine. Very common. We would replace it right out of the box. But here's the thing. There are areas on these bumper covers, like where you see that X.
Yeah.
You can't do a repair there according to the manufacturer, because if you do any kind of repair there and add primers and any kind of fillers and whatever else you're going to do to it, and then paint it again,
it changes.
That sensor may not see through the bumper the way it did before, and the OEM says no go.
Yeah.
If it was in the back, it may not be a problem, but when it's on the side like this, that bumper becomes unrepairable and has to be replaced with an OEM bumper, original manufacturer equipment. So anyway, just going back to this other one, clearly there is a whole lot more damage here than just a bumper job.
Yeah.
And is it safe to drive? I guess it's safe to drive. There's nobody else around that could hit you.
See if you can set that up in the next time you want to go across town.
And the way distracted driving is going these days, which is one of the major influences in claims, the probability of getting rear-ended again is higher than normal.
Sure.
So we want to make sure that your passengers and you, the driver, are protected. And just when you see something that looks nice and simple and damn it, it's just somebody scratched my bumper. It could be more than that, and you should have it actually checked out before you continue to drive it. Don't take somebody's word for it that it's, drivable.
Yeah, so to tie that into the very beginning, there's in many cases more to what you see. There's more going on behind the scenes, or in this case, behind the bumper cover.
Yeah. Bumper covers do exactly what they say they do. They cover.
They cover.
And, I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. They're ornamental to some degree. When you have the sensors and stuff in it, that changes the ornamental a little bit.
Sure.
But they're covering stuff. They're covering all the stuff that you would never need to see or want to see.
Right.
But they also cover damage very, very well. And what looks like one thing turns out to be another thing. And this is just one to give you a peek behind the bumper, so to speak. And
this is a great lesson for us all, right? Because let's just say, God forbid, you're backing out of the garage and you hit something, the pole or the structure of the garage or whatever. You might think no big deal, but it really may be a much bigger deal than you imagine.
Especially if you're relying on maybe your backup sensors or your blind spot monitors, cross-track alert, and all the rest of that. If you rely on those things, then this car is not safe to drive at that point.
There you go.
So there it is,
friend,
folks.
Thank you so very much, and have a very happy Saturday to you.
And to you, my friends, thanks for tuning in as always, and I hope this was helpful. Give us the thumbs up if you would. Appreciate it. Have a great week.